Hello, everyone. My name is Kent Baker. I'm a history teacher at Portage Central High School. I'm also the school's advisor to our chapter of the National Honor Society. And I thought I'd take a few minutes and walk through our selection process as we get ready for the 2020-2021 school year. So this is normally something I do in person with candidates. We're not able to do that this year, so here we go. And I want to reinforce, if you have questions, let me know, and I'll reinforce that at the end. Okay. So number one, let's just talk process. Invitations to apply, they're going to be emailed to eligible candidates. I'll go over what that means in a moment. To eligible candidates on Wednesday, May 13th. Okay. They will go to your Portage Public School email account. Not to personal email accounts, it'll go to the student email account. If you feel like I would say at the end of May 13th, if you felt that you should have received one of these email documents, then by all means, again, contact me and we'll take a quick look, okay? Eligible students. Eligible candidates are sophomores and juniors, current sophomores and juniors. They need to have a 3.75 cumulative weighted grade point average. That would be through the end of the first semester of the 2019-2020 school year. So really semester that ended there at the end of January 2020. Nothing from this semester will go towards that. Okay, so 3.75 weighted grade point average. No serious referral or disciplinary issues. I mean, to put it simply, we're not going to be looking for candidates that are featured on episodes of Cops or Live PD or any of those different shows out there. There's a difference between somebody that's had a tardy or two, something along those lines, versus chronic discipline issues, serious academic issues, that kind of thing. Okay, so no serious referral discipline issues. If you are going to want one of the application forms after, as of the 13th, when you receive that email, contact me and I will send the application to you electronically. The reason why we do that is that instead of just posting the document, is that when I talk about the selection a little bit later, you're going to be assigned a number when you request the form. This is to remove as much of the bias as we can when we're screening the applications to make it as fair as possible. Well, you'll be that number instead of the name so that the committee can look it over. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. The other thing is to reinforce, it's a little bit of a check to make sure that you're eligible to do the application. I just don't want somebody that's a freshman, for example, going through this process, which is going to take some time, and then you're not eligible, or your grade point was a little bit off or something along those lines. I just don't want something to be missed in the communication and have somebody fill it out and then not get in because of some technicality of some part. So you're going to contact me to get the application. Okay, now we'll go through the steps. We've got 4 of them. The first, and I'll go through each of these. There's a slide for each step. A recommendation form, okay, a leadership record. You will write an essay. You'll write a personal statement. You'll have an activity plan, okay, and then that last one is documentation of your service record. There are 4 pillars for National Honor Society that comprise it. Those 4 pillars are service, character, leadership, and scholarship. Scholarship is taken care of by the weighted grade point average, that cumulative weighted grade point average. Leadership, which is quite honestly one of the more challenging ones to document, because especially if you're a sophomore, you've just had fewer opportunities, and even as a junior, it's hard to sometimes get some of those leadership opportunities. And that's the essays are kind of that writing. That's a little bit of a scholarship piece again. Service, a commitment to service is something, not just the required hours in high school, but this is kind of going above and beyond, incorporating service into who you are. Okay, so the 4 steps. Step 1, I know this is text heavy because it's going to go up onto the site, but I'm going to highlight a few things from it. Okay, The first thing and the first checkpoint, and this one's going to be due the quickest, okay? You're going to have a recommendation form where you list 6 staff references, 6 Portage Central High School staff references. These are going to serve as character references. You know, they know you. They've seen you in action. It could be, they don't have to all be teachers. I mean, teachers are part of it, but it could include counselors, office secretaries, could be directors or assistant coaches. It could be hall monitors. It could be custodians. We have a whole host of people that work here at Portage Central High School. We're asking that you have 6 people that can attest to who you are. Okay, and if you're struggling with those 6, then that just means as far as you need to get a little bit more involved with the school. The whole why they're Portage Central High School staff members. This is a Portage Central High School chapter of the National Honor Society. So this group represents the school community as a whole. It represents past, present, and future members of our chapter. And there are close ties between the staff and our group. And so, you know, there is that relationship, and our staff knows our students. Okay, so 6 of them, they're your choice. That form will be due by May 20th at midnight. That's the first one. That's the earliest deadline. All you're providing are the 6 names. You give me the 6 names, and then there are forms that I'm going to be sending to those references that they complete. This is the quickest deadline. The rest is due in June, okay? But it's to get a head start on this. I actually encourage you to turn it in even sooner if you are able to, because the staff, it's going to take them some time to complete these references. And I mean, we have a few staff members that will end up doing double-digit 10, 20, 25 of these forms. So it's just to be courteous in that case. I do want to reinforce as well that if it was me and I was applying and I'm listing 6 references, I'm doing 2 things. I'd be contacting those references before I listed them just to say, hey, are you okay with this? Are you willing to do me a favor? And then the second thing I'm doing is I'm writing them a thank you note afterwards to say thank you for kind of standing up for me, doing the best you can, even if you're not admitted. The people that complete these references are definitely going above and beyond. Okay. If you've got questions on it, again, please let me know. I'll have my email information listed at the end. Second step, and this one's due June 3rd. Okay, another Wednesday by midnight. This is you're providing a record of your leadership. Okay, and I included 3 examples on this slide. I don't need to go through each of them, but just, you know, student ambassadors, the band, marching band, volleyball. Actually, I listed 4, camp counselor for summer. These things have to be through your years here at high school. So I don't need something back in middle school or anything along those lines. It's in high school. And it could be it could be a job, it could be extracurricular oriented, that kind of thing. But you need to list it as I indicated on there. List contact information for that adult that can verify, and then just have a quick description of what you did. What were your duties and responsibilities? Not a book. You're not writing a large thing for each of these activities, but a committee is going to be reading through them. And it's, you know, it shouldn't be a mystery what you did. Okay. So key being you provide that record. It might just be a few things. It could be a lot of things. This is the one that's weighted the smallest amount. Okay. But you still want to complete it. And there is a point value associated with it. Okay. Third step, you're going to create a couple of essays. You're going to make a plan. First essay will be a prompt involving leadership. Okay. Where you reflect on leadership, some activity. You have a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of choice. But that'll be essay number 1. That'll be a 500-word essay or so. Second one is a personal statement where you're integrating and kind of indicating and reflecting on what those 4 pillars, how they're incorporated into your life, ways, what they've meant to you, what you've done, that kind of a thing. I'll get to that in a moment. And then that third one is planning a service event. One of the things that we'll do within our group is overwhelmingly the activities that we take part in. And this is a service organization. It's student initiated and student run. So for this, it's a sample, okay, but thinking about what's a cause that means something to you and what would be a way for you to make a positive impact related to that cause. So you would walk through organizing it. What would you do? How would you recruit people? What materials are not? How would you see it through? That kind of thing. So you'll plan it. So it'll be a little bit of a practice, like an action plan, if you're going to do some kind of leadership activity once you're inside the chapter. Okay, and the directions will be there with it. Again, this will be through a Google document that's provided by the school through the application form, and it'll be completed by June 10th. Okay, and before I do step 4, I've got to get the lights back on in my classroom. Okay, so 4th step. This will be your service record. Okay, your service record, and there'll be a little bit of leeway on this because there might be some issues getting signatures and that kind of stuff because of how many things are shut down right now. I gave an example, and it's a good one, I think, for our school because we hold 3 blood drives, at least 3, during a school year. So this person volunteered at 4 drives, but they also donated blood at each of them, gave a description, setting up, cleaning up, recruiting donors. They've got the supervisor, Mr. Hoopengarner, and then they attached a form for documentation. Documentation may end up involving, in this case, maybe it's an email from the adult that verifies the service. If you're running into problems with that part, then you're going to want to let me know. This service record, again, demonstrates that you've gone above and beyond the school requirements for service, essentially your freshman year. This one's also going to be due on June 10th at midnight, okay? Few things for you to keep in mind. This is a selective process. Not all applicants are going to be admitted. Last year we had 123 applicants. 50 of them were admitted, okay? Not everybody's admitted. You have to think about this a little bit. And that's, I know it's disappointing, but it's also, it means something to be admitted, okay? And you should really, again, your application is going to speak a lot to that as far as if it's a good fit for you. The group's not for everybody. We take the service, leadership, character, and scholarship seriously. You reflect and are examples to your classmates, to your community. And honestly, we want people that are going to embrace that role. And frankly, you do too. And this is not a judgment, this is an observation. Students are pulled in so many different directions, whether it's through sports, whether it's through other extracurriculars, whether it's through your pretty rigorous coursework. Could be that you have a job or outside functions, whether it's in scouts or whatever it might be. You're being pulled in a lot of directions. This is something that you're going to be pulled at as far as your time and your energy. So you should want to be there. It shouldn't simply be a check for college applications. You should be willing to embrace it. Okay. That third part, faculty committee, how this is done. I already mentioned that we remove your name. There'll be a number. I'm going to have that. I'll have your name and your number together. There is a faculty committee of 5 staff members, okay, that they take all of these applications. They will only have the numbers as far as for each person. They look at them all and they put them out and they screen through them, okay, and kind of mark and score them. And that's, again, a reason why we remove the names, just to remove some of that possible personal bias. I am that 6th person. I'm making sure the process is followed, that it's fair for the candidates, that I'm answering questions from the committee, that kind of thing, okay? So the faculty committee, 5 members. There we go. I will be posting a frequently asked question document. I'll be honest, I'm sure I'm going to keep adding to it this year. Normally I can anticipate and answer the questions ahead of time. I think this year is a brave new world. Okay, I think we're going to run into all kinds of things. I'll give you one example right now. I don't know when the induction ceremony will be, because normally it's in September. I don't know what we're going to be able to do, because I always try to avoid games, that kind of thing, schedule things. I can't avoid practice, but I can avoid games, that kind of thing, and give plenty of notice. But I don't think they're going to be able to put together athletic schedules and that kind of thing right now. So it'll be the kind of document that'll be added to throughout the weeks and months to come. Okay, there'll be a Q&A session that I will record that students can come into. There'll be a code. It'll be a Google Meet if they want to ask any questions about the application. This will take place sometime shortly after May 13th, when the process is opened up officially. And it'll be it's not mandatory, it'd be optional. It's if you have questions about the application, you can jump in, ask questions, and then jump back out. And I'll record it and post it, okay? My recommendation to you is to be thorough, to take your time, be thoughtful with your descriptions, be thoughtful on your essays, and your action plan, your service plan that you put together. I already said it. Think about this as a job interview, okay? There are a lot of qualified candidates. And so the people that don't spend much time, and attention to detail kind of screen themselves out. So hopefully that makes some sense there. Final notes, definitely contact me if you want to be on the distribution list for service opportunities. There's not much now, but there'll be more coming up. There are some service things that we can do in a socially distant and responsible manner, whether it's, there's some things that we can do for retirement homes as far as not going there, but doing some videos and things like that some people are working on. We've got people that are going to be making masks to donate for employees, for hospitals. There's all kinds, letters of encouragement. There's stuff that's going on in our community. Okay, so I could put you on a distribution list for that. I can do that right away, right as soon as you watch this. Just send me a note. That also would probably be the quickest way to access information about the process as we move along, because I'll essentially be creating a Google Classroom, and you would be in that, and I'll start posting stuff into it. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. My email here at the school, kbaker@portageps.org, is the quickest way to get through to me. Let me know if you got questions. I have office hours, but I add to those. I'm available to meet in the morning or evening even. I keep the office hours for the student questions that I've got, so I'm not going to post that there. But I'm accessible as far as time. Okay, we'll figure something out that works. I'm going to thank you right now for everything, and I'm going to thank you in advance for your patience, because this is going to be a unique process. I've done this for 20 years. I am trying to get my head around just the selection process, and then how can we make an impact in our community in a really responsible and thoughtful way. So thank you for your patience. If you got questions, let me know, and good luck. Okay.